Hey everyone, Dr. J here, and I have to tell you, I just discovered something in my kitchen that absolutely blew my mind. I've been studying nutrition for over 15 years, I've researched hundreds of foods, I've looked at the science behind superfoods from all over the world, but I completely overlooked something that's been sitting in Indian households for thousands of years, something that our ancestors knew the power of, something that modern medicine is just now catching up to. And honestly, when I realized what I've been missing, I felt a little foolish. But that's exactly why I'm making this video today, because I want to make sure you don't miss out on what might be one of the most powerful grains you can add to your diet right now. We're talking about Kuthiraivali, also known as Barnyard millet. And if you're watching this, whether you're Tamil, whether you have Indian heritage, or whether you're just someone who cares about optimizing your health naturally, this video is going to change how you think about what you eat. I'm going to show you exactly why this humble grain that our grandmothers have been using for generations is actually a medical breakthrough waiting to happen. So before we dive in, make sure you subscribe to this channel because we're breaking down the incredible science behind traditional foods that actually work, and we're doing it every single week. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything, because this is the kind of information that can genuinely transform your health. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine a food that's been used in Ayurvedic medicine for thousands of years. A food that was considered sacred, that was fed to babies and elderly people, that was used as medicine during times of illness. And then imagine that modern science, with all our fancy technology and research capabilities, is finally proving that our ancestors were absolutely right. That's what we're talking about with Kuthiraivali. This is a grain that's been protecting human health for millennia, and now we have the research to back up what people already knew intuitively. So what exactly is barnyard millet? It's a small grain, tiny actually, about the size of a mustard seed. In Tamil, it's called Kuthiraivali, which literally translates to horse grain, because horses were sometimes fed this grain to keep them strong and healthy. It's been cultivated in India, especially in South India, for thousands of years. It's gluten-free, it's nutrient-dense, and it's one of the most underrated foods in the world. If you walk into any Indian grocery store, you can find it. It's cheap, it's accessible. And yet most of us have no idea what it is or how powerful it is for our health. Here's what really got me excited about this grain. I was looking at the nutritional profile and I literally couldn't believe my eyes. 1 cup of cooked barnyard millet contains about 8 grams of fiber. Let me put that in perspective for you. Most Americans get about 13 to 15 grams of fiber per day, and that's considered low. 1 single cup of this grain gives you more than half of what most people get in an entire day. But wait, there's more. It's loaded with magnesium. We're talking about a mineral that most of us are severely deficient in. Most people don't get enough magnesium, and magnesium is crucial for sleep, for muscle function, for bone health, for literally hundreds of enzymatic reactions in your body. Barnyard millet is loaded with it. And then there's the protein content. For a grain, Kuthiraivali is exceptionally high in protein. It contains all the essential amino acids you need, which is rare for a plant-based grain. Most grains are incomplete proteins, meaning they don't have all 9 essential amino acids. But barnyard millet does. That means if you're vegetarian, if you're vegan, if you're just trying to get more plant-based protein into your diet, this is an absolute game changer. 1 cup gives you about 6 grams of protein. Compare that to regular white rice, which has almost no protein. The difference is staggering. Let me talk about what this grain actually does to your body when you eat it. First, because of the incredibly high fiber content and the way the carbohydrates are structured, barnyard millet has a very low glycemic index. This is huge. A low glycemic index means it doesn't spike your blood sugar rapidly. Your body doesn't produce that sudden surge of insulin that leads to energy crashes, mood swings, and over time, insulin resistance and diabetes. When I started eating Kuthiraivali, I noticed that my energy levels became incredibly stable throughout the day. No more 3 o'clock slump. No more reaching for caffeine or sugar to get through the afternoon. My blood sugar was just steady, consistent all day long. Now think about what that means for people dealing with diabetes, pre-diabetes, or anyone worried about metabolic health. This grain could be literally life-changing. There are studies from India looking specifically at barnyard millet and its effects on blood glucose levels, and the results are remarkable. People who switched from white rice to Kuthiraivali saw measurable improvements in their fasting blood glucose levels. We're talking about actual physiological change happening in the body from simply swapping out your grain. The digestive benefits are another thing that really impressed me. Because of the fiber content and because of the way the grain is structured, it feeds your good bacteria. Your gut microbiome, your intestinal bacteria, they absolutely love this stuff. When you feed your good bacteria, they thrive. They produce short-chain fatty acids, which nourish your gut lining, reduce inflammation, and literally improve your overall health from the inside out. People who have been eating Kuthiraivali have reported improvements in digestive issues like bloating, constipation, and general digestive discomfort. It makes sense when you understand the science. Let me talk about something that doesn't get discussed enough, and that's the mineral content. Beyond magnesium, we're talking about copper, which is essential for connective tissue formation and iron absorption. We're talking about manganese, which is crucial for bone health and metabolism. We're talking about phosphorus, which works with calcium to build strong bones. When you look at the mineral profile of barnyard millet compared to regular rice, it's not even close. It's like comparing a multivitamin to a placebo. I've been experimenting with incorporating Kuthiraivali into my diet for the last 3 months, and I want to share exactly what happened. First 2 weeks, I felt stronger. My muscles responded better to training. I had more endurance during my workouts. By week 4, my sleep improved. I was sleeping deeper, and I was waking up more refreshed. My digestion improved dramatically. I stopped having that bloated feeling after meals. Around week 6, something interesting happened. My skin looked better, my energy was stable, my mood was more consistent. I wasn't experiencing the mood swings I used to get from blood sugar fluctuations, and my blood work, when I got it done, showed improvements across the board. My cholesterol profile was better, my fasting glucose was lower, my inflammatory markers had decreased. Now, I want to be clear, I didn't just eat Kuthiraivali and do nothing else. I was still exercising, I was still managing my stress, I was still sleeping well, I was still eating other nutritious foods. But adding this grain to my diet made a measurable difference. It's like the grain was helping my body optimize itself more efficiently. Here's what I really want you to understand about why this grain is so special. In Ayurveda, there's a concept called Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, the 3 doshas, the 3 fundamental energies or constitutions in the body. Kuthiraivali is considered beneficial for all 3 doshas, which is rare. Most foods are good for 1 or 2 constitutions and might aggravate others. But barnyard millet is balanced. It's nourishing without being heavy. It's energizing without being heating. It supports digestion without irritating the gut. From an Ayurvedic perspective, this is why our ancestors used it so extensively. Let me tell you how to actually use this grain, because I know some of you might be thinking, okay, Dr. J, this sounds great, but how do I cook it? I've never cooked this before. It's actually really simple. You cook it just like you would cook rice. 1 part Kuthiraivali to 3 parts water, bring it to a boil, then reduce heat and simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes until the water is absorbed and the grain is cooked. You can add it to your regular meals, you can have it as a breakfast porridge with some jaggery and ghee, you can use it in soups, you can mix it with other grains. Some of my patients have been mixing it 50-50 with their regular rice, so they get the benefits of Kuthiraivali while they're still eating a familiar grain. The beauty of this is that it's incredibly affordable. You can go to any Indian grocery store and get a kilogram of barnyard millet for just a few hundred rupees. Compare that to the cost of supplements and fancy superfoods that promise you the world. This is a real food, tested by time, backed by science, and available right now in your local market. I want to address something important though. If you have celiac disease or non-celiac gluten sensitivity, barnyard millet is absolutely safe. It's gluten-free. Unlike wheat, barley, and rye, this grain doesn't contain gluten. So if you've been avoiding grains because of gluten issues, Kuthiraivali is an excellent option. You can finally have a grain-based meal without worrying about symptoms. The weight management aspect is something I've seen consistently in people who switch to eating Kuthiraivali. Because it's high in fiber and protein, it keeps you fuller longer. You don't experience the hunger spikes you get with white rice. People naturally eat less because their satiety signals are properly regulated. Combined with the stable blood sugar, this makes weight management much easier. You're not fighting your body's hormones. Your body is working with you instead of against you. Let me talk about bone health for a moment, because this is something that affects everyone, especially as we age. The mineral density of Kuthiraivali, especially its calcium and phosphorus content, supports bone formation and maintenance. For women going through menopause, for older adults worried about osteoporosis, for anyone wanting to maintain strong bones throughout their life, this grain is beneficial. And it's a natural food source, not a supplement. Your body recognizes it, absorbs it, and utilizes it effectively. The anti-inflammatory properties are another major benefit that doesn't get talked about enough. Most modern health issues, heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, autoimmune conditions, cognitive decline, they all have inflammation at their root. When you eat foods that are inflammatory, like refined grains and processed foods, you're constantly triggering an inflammatory response in your body. But when you eat foods like barnyard millet, which are rich in fiber and minerals and phytonutrients, you're actively reducing inflammation. You're healing from the inside out. I've had people come to me with various health issues, some with digestive problems, some with blood sugar issues, some with joint pain, and I've recommended they incorporate Kuthiraivali into their diet. The results have been consistent and impressive. These aren't placebo effects. These are real, measurable improvements in how people feel and in their actual health markers. Now, I want to give you a practical challenge. For the next 2 weeks, I want you to replace your regular rice with Barnyard millet just once a day. That's it. 1 meal a day. Replace your rice with Kuthiraivali. Keep everything else the same. Track how you feel. Notice your energy levels. Notice your digestion. Notice your sleep. Notice your mood. I genuinely believe you're going to feel a difference, and I think you're going to want to continue after those 2 weeks. This isn't something you need to do forever to feel benefits, but I think once you experience how good you feel eating this grain, it's going to become a staple in your diet. The fact that this grain has been used in India for thousands of years and is now being validated by modern science is exactly what excites me about nutrition. We don't need to wait for the next expensive superfood trend. We don't need to spend hundreds of dollars on fancy supplements. We have these incredible foods rooted in traditional wisdom that are finally getting the scientific recognition they deserve. Kuthiraivali is one of those foods. So here's my final message for you. Your health is not determined by one food, but the food you eat consistently, day after day, absolutely shapes your health trajectory. If you're eating white rice 3 times a day, that's affecting your blood sugar, your digestion, your inflammation levels, and your overall health. But if you switch that to Barnyard millet, even just once a day, you're making a powerful shift towards better health. You're giving your body the nutrients it's been craving. You're stabilizing your blood sugar. You're feeding your good bacteria. You're reducing inflammation. You're supporting your bones, your muscles, your energy levels, and your long-term health. This is health fixing now, and it starts with the food on your plate. Thank you so much for watching. If this video resonated with you, please share it with your family, with your friends, with anyone who cares about their health. Comment below and let me know. Are you going to try Kuthiraivali? Have you been eating it already? What's your favorite way to cook it? I read every single comment, and I'd love to hear from you. Subscribe to this channel for more science-backed information about real foods that actually work. And remember, the best medicine is prevention, and the best prevention starts with what you eat. Now go get yourself some Barnyard millet and start this journey towards better health. I'll see you in the next one. Take care and stay healthy.